All right, it's time for us to try some three-dimensional plotting. So I'll title this subsection 3D plots, and we'll look at a couple of different kinds. Let's start with some data. So I'm going to have an X array, and I want these linearly spaced, so I get a nice pretty graph. Lin space, and remember here the first number is the beginning of your interval, the second number is the end of your interval, and the increment comes third. So, or not the increment, the number of items that you want. That's how lin space works. So let's say we want to go from 0 to 10 pi, and I want 1,000 numbers. So 0 to 10 pi, give me 1,000 of them. That's one way to create your x values. That's lin space, linearly spaced values. I'll get cosines, and I'll get sines of x, and the command for a 3D plot, a basic 3D plot, is just plot 3, and the 3 I want to plot are x, y, and z. So go ahead and let's put on the grid on, and we'll give it a label. X label, angle, y label. Don't forget these are supposed to be in parentheses. Y label is, what was it, cosine, and Z label, sine. Okay, let's give it a title. I knew I'm reading something. A spring? I wonder why I said title it a spring. Let's see. Run the section. We get our X, our Y, and our Z, and I probably have lost my figure window somewhere behind. There it is. Oh, I've still got subplot on from a previous problem I was doing. So let's close that. Run section again. There we go. So what we're looking at now is the spring that's got all the way around. So the angle goes from 0 to like 30 something, and the sine and cosine together make this go in a circle. I'm going to close this and change my plot 3 to comet 3 for fun. Now when I run section, I get this nifty little thing where it's drawing it along. So comet is something that comet 3 allows you to see the trajectory that the thing follows as it goes on, kind of like a parametric equation in 3 dimensions, which is fun. So let me make a note about that. Comet 3 instead of plot 3 animates the graph. Cool. Let's do a different kind of 3-dimensional graph called a surface plot. Surface plot. So the one we just did was great for like something moving through space and we're just kind of following it along. Comet is great for that too because it really lights it up. But what I want to do now is draw something a little different. So a surface in 3 dimensions. I need, oh my goodness, I need some data. So let's say Z is 1 through 10, semicolon, and then 2 through 20 in increments of 2. I hope this works. And then 3 through 12. So I think I've counted correctly. Let's run this section real quick and get it. Not consistent. And the thing I messed up was this definition. The increment goes in the middle. There we go. So starting at 2, counting by 2s all the way to 20. I think this will work. Run that section. Yes. I called this Z, so we can clear X, clear Y, just to get them out of the way. Z is a 3 by 10, and you can kind of see it if you want to. Let's suppress that moving forward so we don't have to look at that again. So I've got this Z, and I'm going to use this command called mesh, mesh Z. And let's label the X label, that's for the X axis, just to make it a little easier to see. The Y label is the Y axis, and the Z label, yes, there's a Z label, Z axis. Okay, so let's run this section and see what we get. I don't know. Let's see what we get. Oh, I've lost my figure window, as usual. Here we go. So we can kind of see what's going on. There's a lot of ways we can customize the appearance here, but I just typed in some z's. So the z is the height, and the x and y axis are just the position in the matrix. So if you don't give it an x and a y, it's just going to use the row and column of that value. So it's like row 1, let's look at z real quick. So let's look at this. So row 2, column 4 has a value of 8. And when I look at the figure, x is 2, y is 4. I've got these backwards. Y is 2, x is 4, and then the z value here is an 8. So that's all that we're looking at because all I gave it were z values. Instead, we could have an x and a y. Maybe x equals linspace 150, give me 10 of them, and y equals, oh, I should be doing this in my script. I'll copy it in. Linspace, let's say 500 to 1,000 and give me 3 of them. So hopefully my numbers work out. Z is a 3 by 10, so I said 3 here, 10 here. That way they'll match up. Now I can do mesh x, y, z. And I'm going to go put all of this back into my notes file. Sorry about that. Notice that the z values are the same. I haven't changed the z values, but what I changed was the labels of the x and the y. So instead of just being the position of the particular z value, the row and the column number, now they have the x and y values that I supplied. All right, so that's some intro to 3D plotting. We'll get some more 3D plots in our next video.